Hi everyone, I'm here with Cynthia and Celest. We are here to share with you our motherhood story. So, Cynthia and Celest, have you always wanted to be a mom?
When I was 20 plus, yes, 年轻, you still want to give birth, be a mom, your dream. After 30 plus, not really, because I was quite afraid. Yeah.
Oh, it was absolutely no for me.
Why?
Because when I found out I was pregnant, I cried because I knew that the life that I had planned for myself, the carefree life, the pick up and go anytime you wanted, was going to be over. But reflecting and looking back, I was pretty silly then, because I don't think I would have traded anything for the life that I've had with my son for the last 17 years.
Wow. I'm sure he really
Yeah.
appreciates. Does he know that you actually didn't want to be a mom?
Now he will.
Oh, okay. Well, I think like Celeste, I've always wanted to be a mom. I have like this grand plan to, get married at 25, have a kid at 26, and give birth to all my babies. I wanted 3,
Wow.
by the time I'm 30. So of course now, thank God I have 3 kids. I'm really thankful, to God for the gift of my children. So what's a typical day like for you?
Wow, mine very strong. Okay. Mine started at, it depends, sometimes 6 to 6:30, depends on what time the younger one wakes up. And then I will prepare for the elder boy to go to school. So his school bus comes at 7:15. Wow, you thought it was over, right? But I still have the second one. Then the second one will take a while to feed and get him changed. And then I will send him to school at about 8 to 8:30. Then that is where my me time begins. And I will exercise maybe like 2 times a week, and in between I will run for meetings, appointments and lunch meetings and all. After that, I will try to rush home by 3:45 because his school bus will come back about that time. Then we'll settle him down. That is where my husband will take over. He will teach him maths and English for an hour. Then 4:30, I will go and fetch the second one. When he comes home 5-ish, everybody shower, they have their dinner. By 6-ish, we will go for a walk, or we will go to the park, we will play a little bit of outdoor games. And after that, I will get everybody done at 7 o'clock. So 7 o'clock, we will either read storybook, we will play a little bit, and then we'll pray. Then 7:30, lights off, everybody goes to bed.
Nice.
Wow, it
Very
seems
nice.
like you have like a fixed schedule,
Yeah.
to do at home. Do you have like a timetable at home?
No, timetable internalized. It's like it's like clockwork every day.
My days are very short, because my son is now 17 and he's on his way to poly. He's pursuing nursing, so I'm really proud of him because he's choosing that as his profession. And he's quite independent now, so I was following a very rigid schedule, just like you. But after a while, especially when he was in secondary school, he started to have his own, and he has his own schedule, so I don't need to follow up. In fact, I find that I have a lot more time on my hands, which means that I get to do a lot more things that I want to pursue. And I'm also happy to see that as he goes on from day to day, the thing that puts me at ease is the fact that he is always covered, in terms of he walks with God every day. And because he walks with God every day, I put all my faith and all my trust that he's properly looked after, and that anything that he asks, our Father God will look after him.
Wow. And I think, Cynthia, you shared with me that Adam was with us in Harvest Kids
Yeah.
as a child.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
so happy to hear that he's doing well right now, working with God. Yeah, well, a typical day for me is like, but because I have 2 primary school going kids, so I'm like the tutor at home. Yeah, I don't send my kids for an extra classes, so I'm the one to coach them on their things here, on their spelling, on their English, on their math, and composition. So I think that I have to keep, myself up to pace with the school syllabus. So
Are you a dragon? Are you a tiger mom?
I don't think I'm a tiger mom. Actually, I feel that I'm a pretty chill mom.
Cool. Very
Pretty
cool.
chillax, because I try to tell myself to let my kids enjoy their childhood, not to be too stressed out or uptight.
Yep.
So I think what I always tell them is that do your best. After you have done your best, you have put in your effort, and then even if the results is not like perfect, I think that's fine. To me, the most important thing is to treasure the learning process.
Yeah, the journey is important.
The journey is important, yeah. So your day sounds so busy, Celeste. So what do you do to self-care? Do you have like
Self-care.
time to yourself?
You gotta think hard for it. Self-care. Okay, my husband and myself, we are foodies, so we love to eat. I think how we take care of ourselves is we eat a lot. That's why we, after birth we get a bit. I mean, I get a bit fat.
You're very slim. You look very slim.
Okay. But we really eat a lot. I think one of the way we take care of ourselves is we enjoy good food. So sometimes when he's stressed at work and when I get very tired looking after the kids, he will say, "Okay, come, let's go and eat, let's makan, and have drinks." And another self-care would be fellowshipping with people. So if I'm stressed out, if I'm very tired, you just need to put a human in front of me, and if I can talk, then I'm very happy. So that's how I take care of myself. Talk to people. Yeah. So
I think I'm the reverse. I am quite quiet because my job requires me to be very interactive with people. In fact, I have to be super engaged. But when I'm on my own, I'm more quiet, and my friends might disagree. But I am very quiet, and I would prefer to have. I prefer to read. I prefer to study. In fact, I'm actually pursuing a part-time degree in counseling, and it's been filling my days and my nights.
I think it's so good that you have your own me time and you set aside space. Many moms that I speak to, because I'm a pastor, right? That's what I do. And when I speak to moms, many moms forget to have time for themselves. And when I ask some of them, like, what do you do when your kids are in school? They don't know what to do. So I think it's so important, right, for us as moms to know, to have that personal space, to exercise, go for walks, have some interests and hobbies. I personally like to paint. I like to bake.
That's nice.
I do a little bit of gardening at home.
Wow.
Yeah, I think.
Do you grow vegetables?
Oh yeah, I grow vegetables. In fact, we regrow some of the vegetables that we have at home, like the kangkong.
Successful?
We have herbs. Yeah, successful. Yeah, we grow rosemary, we grow like our thyme, our basil.
Do your children help you to grow the vegetables?
We have a compost at home.
Wow, that's serious.
Wow.
Yeah,
You're
so-
a serious gardener.
Serious gardeners. No, we're just amateurs. Yeah, it's just, I think we want to expose our kids, to different experiences while just having our own interests.
We had a taugeh growing competition in my cell group, and we were growing buckets and pails of taugeh to see who could grow the most.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or
And
you
so
can
we
try
had
that with your son.
taugeh.
Yeah, we did that
for
during
weeks.
COVID, the circuit breaker.
Yeah.
We did that because it was part of the home-based learning. After that project is done, that's it. I'm not a. I don't have green fingers. Sorry.
Taugeh is as far as I went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, because we are so busy with our, I know now your son is older, but when he was young, I'm sure your days were very occupied, with taking care of him and looking into his future. So, are there any things that you wish you had done, or do you have any regrets, especially like now your son is 17?
That's a tough one, because whenever I look back, I don't like to look at things as from a I wish I would have done that perspective. I think that everything happens for a reason, and that he has been, we've been very, very fortunate, and there was always a hand of God in everything that we did. So when you ask, it's a very difficult question for me. Like, I don't see anything that has happened as a regret. I personally have some regrets, but for him and with him, I don't think so. He might have something else to say about that, but maybe I was too fierce in some occasions, or maybe I could have relaxed on some things. But for the record, no regrets.
For me, with my child, maybe not so. But if there's something that I felt I could have done better is for him to spend more time with my parents, because my dad passed on last year, and I felt that, he knows that I have 2 kids and all, but I mean, I felt that maybe when he was younger, because he passed on when Ray was 4 years old, so during that 4 years, I felt maybe what I could have done is, instead of just bringing them back once a week to visit, I could have cut away 2 meetings and then bring them back like 3 times a week. I'm not sure. I mean, when I look back, I was thinking, maybe I should have really let my children spend more time with my parents. And so, because now that when he's like 1 year older, sometimes when I ask him about, do you know Wai Kong? He will say, he's in heaven. But I felt he has just a very fake memory. So maybe 10 years down the road, I hope he will still remember. So that is kind of like something which I feel I could have done better, to really let the children spend time with their grandparents. Yeah.
Wow, Celeste, what you shared struck a chord with me, because like with both of you, I don't have any regrets when it comes to my kids because I don't think I'm a neurotic mom, but I constantly evaluate myself and I constantly think like what have I done or what can I do better all the time. So I say that I don't have any regrets. But what you shared just now about your dad, it struck a chord with me because I had my eldest when I conceived him after my dad passed on, and I've always thought, I wondered what it would have been like if my dad is still around and then he could see my 3 kids. So because I think my dad really doted on me. So I think he would have enjoyed his time with his grandkids. Wow.
I felt it too. I felt it too.
Family is so important.
I think I was very fortunate because before my dad passed, my son had many moments.
So nice.
With his grandfather. So
okay.
So was there anything that you had to sacrifice or to give up to be a mom?
You start.
Why I start? Sacrifice.
Celeste, you're like this career woman, you know, like successful, so amazing, and then now you are like at home, and then you have these 2 young boys.
Sacrifice. Okay, I would say my career, because when I gave birth I was 35, so now you know my age, right? 35 plus 5. Okay, so when I gave birth at 35, I was at the peak of my career. So I mean, I can do very well. I have a lot of opportunities. I can have promotions coming and all that. But then I was pregnant. And then I thought to myself, I mean, there's either you stay at home, you slow down and look after your kid, or you go and chong for your career. And I mean, it's a struggle for me, but when that little thing came out and you look at him, I'm like, how to go to work, you know? So I really, I felt it was a big sacrifice because I'm a go-getter, I'm a high achiever. When I want something, I set my eyes on it and I would just go for it. So I have to literally slow myself down and say, okay, 钱是赚不完的, you know, you can never, you know, go for all these awards whatsoever. So I tell myself, okay, never mind. I'm just going to spend the next 3 years slowing myself down and look after him. So that is where, but now when I look back, I don't think it's a sacrifice. It's like, I mean, you know, when you became a mom for so many years, then you realize, it's really not a big deal. I mean, all those things that I wanted, whatever promotion, whatever things that I want to achieve, is nothing compared to being a mother. So
I think that if you think about, for me, if you think about sacrifice, it's probably the best portions will go to the kid. The biggest portions, the best portions, because I would always give the best to my child first.
Wow.
You know,
okay.
And it's become so natural that it's so natural now. You know, it's innate. You know, so is that a sacrifice? I don't know, but when you are, I think that when you're a parent, you'll understand it. But if you aren't a parent, you'll come to understand it soon enough. You know. So is that a sacrifice? I don't know.
I think sometimes we just do what moms got to do. And the things that we give up or the trade-offs that we make, we don't really think of them as sacrifices because of our love for our kids. So I don't think I have sacrifices as well. I just, like I say, you know, we do what we got to do. But I think for me, because my parenthood journey was not easy, before I had my first one, I had a miscarriage. So I've told you just now, I had this grand plan, you know, to always want to have kids, all 3 kids by the time I was 30. That didn't happen, you know, for me. And so when I had my miscarriage, I was really pretty affected, pretty devastated, you know. But I think the Lord knows our heart and our desires.
Yes.
So He spoke to me and told me I would have a boy and a girl.
Wow.
And shortly after, I was pregnant and gave birth to my 2 kids. But even for my eldest one, you know, when he was born, he actually had to go for an operation. So right when he was born, I didn't carry him, and he went for a 7.5-hour operation. And when I saw him, I had the cesarean operation. So I was recuperating. It was difficult. I was in pain. He was in pain, you know. And I remember calling out to God, and I said, God, you know, if I could take all the pain that he's having right now in his body, I could take it upon me. But you know what the Lord told me? God said, Lynn, I've taken all your pain both your son and your pain on the cross. I've nailed it on the cross. And I think that was like this healing point for me in my heart, in my soul. You know, seeing how my son was in pain, he was on morphine, this little baby.
Oh my.
But I think it was
goodness.
from that day on that I really looked forward to his recovery,
Yeah.
and of course to mine as well. And I think motherhood is just like that. It's instinctive. It is something that the Lord endows and gives to us. And it's just so amazing, isn't it?
And he's a strong little boy. He's a strong boy now, right?
Oh yes, yes. He is. I mean, he's still seeing the doctor, and in fact, he is warded here and there. You know, sometimes, you know, for some stomach issues, and in fact, he was just warded, recently. But and I remember during COVID actually last year. He was warded and the doctor actually said he had to go for an operation. But with all my heart, I did not want him to go for another operation.
Yeah.
So when the doctor told me that they have to book the OT and to wheel him in, and I actually put on worship music and I said, God, you know my heart. I don't want him to go for an operation. I told my son, we have to contend for your own healing. We pray, we worship. And then the Lord told me that was when he speaks again to encourage me. He says that, you know, Jonas, that's the name of my son, is your son, is your child, is also my child.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that God has our children in his hands.
Yes.
He just
Amen.
takes care of them.
Yeah.
Amen.
And the amazing thing is that afternoon, my son began to recover. And after 9 days in the hospital, he went home. He did not need to go for an operation.
Yay.
I think to me that is
Amen.
just amazing.
Praise the Lord.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just amazing. Yeah.
So
yeah, I think we really thank God, you know. I think for me, being a mom really taught me the sacrifice of God. You know, how Jesus came and really died for us, and how God, our Abba Father, loves us so much.
Amen.
Like Pastor, when you shared about you being having a miscarriage, I did forget that I also had a miscarriage, and that was like maybe my second year in my marriage, and it was a very lonely time because I felt like I was going through it alone. I did not have Christ in my life then, so I only had. It's hard for me to talk about it because I haven't thought about it in such a long time. Thanks, man. Okay, but I hadn't thought about it in such a long time. But so when I found out that I was pregnant, and when I was 33 or 34, my first reaction was, oh, I had already gone through something quite traumatic, and I didn't know how to react. To the second one, so my first reaction was no, it's not happening. I also didn't know whether the pregnancy was going to go according to plan. But when I think back then, God already had me ready, and He had Adam ready,
For you.
for me, yeah,
And you for him.
yeah.
And I think that's the contradiction sometimes about being moms. We have a lot of fears, but also there's a lot of faith, isn't it?
There was fears. You are right. There were fears at the beginning, but I read up a lot. I did the what to expect when you're pregnant, week to week, month by month. I was tracking it. I was probably blogging and recording it, and so I was trying to understand the development of my baby in me. And then the moment I felt him move in me, it felt like the alien has started. The movement has started. And then when you see your hand come out, you see like a protrusion coming out of your belly, then that's when you go like, okay, that's real. It's not a tummy ache, but it's actually something that you're not controlling moving in you. When I brought Adam home from the hospital, I was really frightened because, I had not only given birth to this alien that was inside of me, and then now it was a different ball game altogether. And I remember I did not, because I was so afraid of how to handle him, I did not bathe this baby for about 11 days. That's disgusting, I know. But they seem to be quite self-cleaning. But the thing was, in those 11 days, I think I took the time to just get into a routine, to understand that my job in those first few days was making sure that I was healthy, I was sleeping well, and that I was producing milk to feed him. And I tried my very best to go all natural, and which meant that my whole life revolved around him, because it felt like every 20 minutes he was hungry, and so every 20 minutes he was attached to me, and so day came into night, night into day. I couldn't tell the difference between what was day and what was night. And when I think it came to a point where it was the 11th day when I had some kind of clarity that this baby that I was holding was really dependent on me, and that I needed to be okay. I needed to look after myself. I needed to make sure that I was feeding well, I was eating well, I was sleeping well, so that I could produce the milk that he needed to survive. And that was when I had that sense, that revelation, that this child was not just this baby, but that I was truly responsible for him.
Yeah, I can imagine as you shared, I was thinking back, of the times when, I gave birth to my kids. I remember taking care of my two kids, right? And like I said, I wanted to have 3 kids, but I decided to stop at 2. Actually, because the process was really difficult for me. I had a miscarriage, and then my dad passed on, and then I gave birth to my eldest one, and he had to go for an operation. I had to really take care of him, and then even when I wanted to have a second one, it wasn't so easy. So the whole process was really quite tough. And then my eldest actually asked for a baby brother, and I was quite tired by then. I was so afraid to step out again and to long for something, and then it would be a difficult process. So I told him, why don't you pray? You pray for a baby brother. So he said, okay. And actually, he prayed for 1 full year.
Wow, faith in action.
Yeah, 1 full year.
Yeah.
And then I remember it was during a church service. I was worshiping God,
So cute.
and had a picture of me carrying a baby boy. And I turned to my husband and said, we are going to have a baby boy.
Wow.
And then the next month, I was pregnant with my number 3. It was a baby boy. And then when I was expecting my number 3, people would ask, my elder 2, do you think that's a boy or a girl? And then my boy would say, of course it's a boy, because I prayed for a boy.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, God is just so good.
That's great. That's so good.
Yeah. In fact, I was so looking forward to my kids coming out.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Really? Actually, I miss the baby inside.
oh yeah, to me being pregnant
Yes,
and being
I miss
limited
being pregnant.
in what I could do, that was the thing that I suppose not so enjoyable part for me.
Okay.
Yeah, but you really enjoyed.
Yes, I enjoy being pregnant. Because I just thought it's very magical. It's very special,
Yeah.
and I felt the closest when he was inside. But
Wow.
maybe because when he came out like screaming and crying, I felt very lost.
More out of control.
It was like, I felt I lost control, and so I'm like, oh, okay, if you're inside, it's like you're mine, and that's it. I can do whatever I want. But once it's out, I felt I lost control. So yeah, I really miss being pregnant. Yeah. But no, I'm not having a third one. I'm just saying I miss being pregnant off the record. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for
Okay.
your husband.
yeah, okay.
So do you have any advice for expecting moms or the moms who are listening to us?
Well, you're closer to it. I'll have to think back 17 years.
Okay, for those mummies to be, firstly, congratulations. Welcome to the club soon.
That's so nice.
Yeah, one advice is, I think like what Pastor Lynn shared earlier on, when my baby first came out, my cell group leader Dawn, she told me that, Celeste, God doesn't have any grandchildren. So Ray is not, you are not God's children, and then Ray is your children. Ray is a direct child of God.
Yeah.
So you just have to trust that whatever happens, you just need to rest in God and trust that God is going to look after him. It's not like you helping God to look after him. God is looking after him, and I am placed on earth to be a privilege to be his parent. So I think with that, it set me free, because I was really anxious as a first-time mom, I'm like worrying about everything, you know. When he drinks a lot of milk, I worry he will vomit. When he doesn't drink enough, I'm worried that he doesn't grow. So every day is worrying. So I think like my servant leader had to give me this advice, and even when I have my second child, it's also the same thing. And when I see people who's pregnant and you know they get very anxious, and I'll just tell them, remember, your baby is a child of God. It's not a grandchild of God. So, yeah, I mean that's my advice. Yeah.
I can think only about like once the baby grows up and you know has to face life. The only thing I would say to parents is that their life is a journey. It's not just about schooling. It's not just about results. It's really about your relationship, the values that you share, and the values that you inculcate in your child that matters. So Adam is turning 17 this year, and he has started to spot this moustache, and because he doesn't have a father figure, you know, around, and he really, in his mind, wanted to have someone teach him how to shave. And you know, being a woman, I've had the experience of shaving my legs. So I thought I could take it on, you know, the experience of teaching him, and he wasn't quite open and willing. But
it's not quite the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing was that he was so bothered about that he was open to it. So I made the decision, you know, with the limited information and knowledge I had about shaving, to suggest to him. I said, why don't we just do it? We watched one YouTube video on it. It didn't help, and I just went, you know, I think that you're supposed to put some soap or something like that on your upper lip, and I shaved half of his mustache to let him see how the feeling was, and he shaved the other half. And you know, and he looked, and he was so happy. He came out of it going like, I finally look my age. You know, and you've seen him, right? He's a baby.
Such a cute little boy.
He's a baby face, and so that little hint of a mustache bothered him, you know. Yeah. Our experience in coming to church and almost like learning together values that we have grown up together with really helped, I think, me and him grow up to not only walk together, but also experience how we should treat each other and how we should treat other people. Schooling is important, sure, but your heart and your head without any heart is pointless, I think.
Yeah, I so agree with you, Cynthia. Yeah, I think because I take the pregnancy class in church, you know, and when I speak to expectant moms, I tell them that the very important thing to prepare you for parenthood or motherhood is really to, number one, know what kind of parent you want to be and what kind of child you want to bring up, what values, what beliefs you want to inculcate in that little being that you're going to be responsible for, you know, for like until at least they reach age of majority at 21. Yeah, and I think also I would tell expectant moms to always talk through and discuss your expectations and how your parenting methods with your husband. Yeah, because that is so important, your partners together. And I think also a very important piece of advice would be that, like what Cynthia mentioned earlier, your shared experiences with your child. Yeah, like I think parenting is not just about me as the parent and you are like the child, but it's about growing up together. It's a faith journey. It's so much a faith journey as a mom.